Blame Truth here, and this video took ages to make. If you guys could do me a solid and like this so it gets put into the algorithm, I'd appreciate it. But other than that, I simply want to ask you for your time and attention. I'd like you to watch as much of this as possible before making a comment, because this is one of the most deep dive videos I've ever done, and it's a bit insane, and it really piques my ADHD, but at the same time, it's the most logical video I think I've ever done, and you'll see what I'm talking about by the end of it. There's so many connections to be made, and they're right in front of our face. So without further ado, let's begin. Activision recently, well, not even recently, the past decade plus, have been known to be not the most upstanding citizens. They shut down mod projects after people buy the base game in order to play the mod project, but then they wait until the last minute so that people can't get refunds. They recently gaslit the community, wanting answers about the rumors based on skill-based damage, or just wanting to know why the servers in general seem to be so bad, to the point where they got community noted, as they should. They have got caught using AI art, a lot of multiple fingered people, from background graphics having multiple fingers to them flat out selling bundles with AI generated slop. They have no shame, and they're also not being forthright about it. They're not talking about it, but it's there. They've also been caught stealing, like, straight up images from the Black Ops 3 Zombies community, just straight up stealing their stuff. But because it's technically their IP, it's fine, I guess. But they're not even doing it the right way. They literally will screenshot this stuff from Google Images and then put it in the game. I mean, look at this image here. They even left the mouse cursor in the background of this screenshot. So it's not even like high quality stealing. They're just taking screenshots and then putting it in MS Paint and just clicking save. Oh, and they're not paying this guy for his World Series of Warzone contributions in September. So 3 months now. It's nearly Christmas, and this isn't the first time I've seen something like this. A lot of people are owed money from this trillion-dollar company. And to wrap this up, the hackers and the cheaters are out of control. They also lied about the server performance improvements. Tactical Brit says they are nonsense. So yeah, they're anti-cheat. I don't even think it's an anti-cheat. I really don't. And I covered that in my last video talking about skill-based damage, my deep dive into that. I'll leave that as an in-screen bit at the very end of this video if you want to check it out. I could go on and on, man. I could go on and on. Just go to Google and type in like Activision controversy. You'll find more than I could ever cover in a single video, even though I've been covering it in multiple videos throughout the years. So knowing this, we have a pattern here. We have a clear pattern to not trust Activision Blizzard. We shouldn't trust them. Most of the stuff that comes out of their mouth is bullshit, and I think that is the logical take with all this. There are so many instances of them lying or gaslighting the community or simply not communicating properly, to the point where it's almost a joke that people even still support them, but they market their games towards retards. And let's be honest here, retards don't care about any of this stuff, man. They just want to play Call of Duty Shoot 'em, man. Woohoo! So for the rest of us, we kind of got to make a stink about this stuff so it gets noticed by the people with brains. And that's what I'm going to do in this video. And it's going to be a bit weird. It's going to be a bit odd, but let's just get right on into it. Do you guys remember Krampus? And I'm not just bringing this up because it's nearly Christmas, but this plays the biggest role in today's video more than anything else I'm going to cover. What am I talking about? Well, first let me explain what Krampus is. If you don't remember it, it was during the Vanguard era. A lot of people chose to not play that game or tap out early, like really early or whatever. And also Warzone sucked at the time, but then again, Warzone sucked for the past like 2 or 3 years, so whatever. Regardless, Krampus was the best way to describe him is this random thing that would just hop into your games and tear you to shreds. That was it. A lot of dev time actually went to coding this and putting it in the game, and yet no one liked it. Everyone and their mother fucking hated it. This seemingly random furry AI bot would come in to your lobby and cause a ruckus. AI bots, where have I heard that from? Oh yeah, Modern Warfare 3. We'll get to that later, though. We'll get to that later. That's another Sledgehammer game that I want to talk about. But regardless, yeah, that's what Krampus was. If you want to see him in action, here he is disrupting pro players scrimming, trying to scrim for Call of Duty Vanguard competitive. There's no option to disable him. He would show up seemingly randomly, but there may have been an actual pattern that we're going to get to in just a bit. The point of all this is, at its core, Krampus was an AI bot that would randomly drop into your game and destroy you. There were supposed rules with him. Sledgehammer Games, and well, Call of Duty at least, I think said that he would go after people either not playing the objective or camping, but from what I gathered, it was neither of those things. I had a gameplay, and maybe you can find it on my old YouTube videos, of like playing Shipment, just absolutely destroying, and Krampus coming after me and killing me while I'm on this big streak, like nuke-like streak. I was doing the best in the lobby. He chooses to come after me. I'm neither not playing the objective nor camping. That's a triple negative for you. How about that? But I wasn't camping. I wasn't not playing the objective. I think it was TDM as well, so I'm not sure why he came after me. But it made me stop and think that, man, this is the dumbest thing they've probably ever put into the game. But regardless, he came, he went, but it always struck me as weird that he never came back. And what I mean by that is, yes, I know that people hated him, but he was found in the Modern Warfare 3 game files, and yet he did not appear. This was a thing that was like factual though. Like they found him like data mining or whatever in Modern Warfare 3 game files. We expected him to show up around Christmas again, but he never appeared. So dev time went to putting him in the game again, or at least porting him over from Vanguard, and yet he wasn't used. I found this odd because shortly after that, the rumors of AI bots being in Modern Warfare 3 started making the rounds. I mean, guys, if you were there during that stretch of videos in Modern Warfare 3 that I made about AI bots, I don't really know how that rumor actually started. I browse Reddit and I browse social media and I look for topics that are, catching interest and snowballing, and that was one that I have no real explanation for. But that's not entirely true. I have two theories on why this rumor started in the first place. During this time, they could have been doing experiments on us, using us as guinea pigs, turning off skill-based matchmaking, and then we get really, really bad players in our lobbies. And this is a factual thing they did when writing up their matchmaking intel, showing us that skill-based matchmaking is a necessity because it gives us 2.333 repeating more percentile player retention, or what have you. But yes, they do turn off skill-based matchmaking randomly for experimental purposes for, dare I say, the data. So yeah, there's that. But back to the bad players being in our lobbies and looking like bots, we had video of this, like people in average lobbies showing these people walking around, running into walls, not knowing what the hell they're doing, but people see them as like the recruit level AI, and then they start putting two and two together. Yeah, there were also a lot of bugs with MW3 as far as viewing people's player cards and friends lists. So it was the perfect storm. You could see why people thought there were AI bots in their lobbies, as well as cheaters, by the way. Let's not forget that. People tracking them looking like a bot, though, because they play like a bot. So is this the perfect storm? That's the non-conspiracy explanation on why that probably took off, right? The actual conspiracy explanation is that they did have AI bots in Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer. They were testing something using us as guinea pigs again, but then once the rumors started coming about, they axed it, and they also debunked it, quote unquote, with some weird wording. I've showed this before, I'm going to show it again though. Does Call of Duty use bots in multiplayer matchmaking? Call of Duty multiplayer does not use bots as part of the general matchmaking process. A weird way to put it. They could have just said, no, we don't use bots in multiplayer. If this changes in the future, we will inform the community. Keep in mind though, Krampus was technically an AI bot in fucking multiplayer. They did tell us though, so I'll give them that. Was it not? By definition, was Krampus not an AI bot that would join your match and then fuck you over? But see, here's the interesting part is that they didn't include Krampus, and then these rumors started really taking off with Modern Warfare 3. And it makes me wonder if Krampus was an experiment. If we go back to the conspiracy explanation of Modern Warfare 3 having AI bots as a test, as an experiment, can we not also think that maybe Krampus was part 1 of this experiment? And the Modern Warfare 3 AI bots were part 2, both limited time events to gather data. They love that word. So why would they do this though? Let's actually look over Reddit to look how many people just did not like Krampus. I mean, you kind of had to be there to know that the consensus was wholly negative. No one liked him in our games because it would literally just attack us randomly. It's not fun. We're playing a multiplayer game. You make it as competitive as possible with skill-based matchmaking, although it's not even skill-based matchmaking, but we'll get into that in a bit. And then, you know, you send some random X factor in just to kill us. But why? Now, the AI bots thing, if they did do that in MW3 for a limited time, made more sense because you can kind of change how they operate. It's not a one and done nuke like Krampus is. You know, you could put some bad bot on someone's team to even out things, or you could put some good bot on someone's team to give them a boost and help make a comeback or whatever. That part makes sense. But yet, that's just a theory. We don't even know if it's really a thing. So we gotta just kind of stick with Krampus here. Let's stick with Krampus. Why in the fuck did he get put into the game? Legitimately, let's look at some of these Reddit threads. I'll just read a few and then keep them on the screen for you guys if you want to read some more. How on earth did Activision sign off on Krampus? Does anyone else think this Krampus thing is possibly the stupidest thing they've ever added to the game, or is it just me? Is it the fact that many people had to sign off on this dumb shit and it actually made it into the game? Pretty dumb when you're in the 6th circle and you get chased by Cramp ass. Fantastic pun there, my guy. Is the point of Krampus to let us all experience what it's like to be stream sniped? While pushing to be or at the top 10, battling multiple teams and the gas closing in, the game decides Krampus needs to hunt my team also. Like, what the fuck? Then add the fact it's so damn random. That ruined a handful of my games last night and possible wins. That's interesting. Had him hunt us multiple times in another match just to add to the frustration. I'm fine with it if you land at the trees and fight him for loot. Towards endgame, it needs to not be a thing. It's just another annoyance on top of all the bugs and etc. that shits on you having a good time. And this is a very interesting one. Why was it seemingly like late game in Warzone that this would happen? Now, I didn't play Warzone, so I'm just going to go off word of mouth here that for the most part, Krampus seemed to only come towards the end of the game, right? Let me know if I'm wrong there, please, or if I'm right in the comments section below. However, playing Vanguard, it was supposed to be a slightly different story. In Warzone, seemingly it was random. In Vanguard multiplayer, though, it was supposed to go after the person not playing the objective and or camping. Let's look at this comment, though, 3 years ago on the Vanguard subreddit. But this is just for all the people that are talking shit about players who are doing their best and getting called campers or non-objective players, because this feature clearly is targeting at random. I don't really care all that much about Krampus. I just want people to calm down when it comes to flaming people for camping when Krampus is a pretty shitty indicator. And this guy says, I really don't know why they advertised that it'd be not playing the objective that would make Krampus spawn in. In most of the games I've played that he spawned in at the very start while we're also spawning in. Like, yeah, no shit, we haven't been playing the objective. We've just been loading in. It's obviously just random, and he definitely just targets at random. Now, some people were saying that he would go after them on streaks and stuff, but, I mean, this could be a coincidence, you know? That would be a big factor for skill-based damage. That would be a big argument for skill-based damage, would it not? If, I don't know, some giant 10-foot-tall furry man comes and rips your head off while you're on a 15 kill streak against Timmy No Thumbs, Billy Goat 57, and Helen Keller 42069 on the opposing team. But that seemingly didn't happen, and for what I gather, it was random. Although, again, I had a weird experience where I was on shipment doing well, and he comes after me. Small sample size, so we're just gonna not take that too seriously. But there was one bit of comments that really made me scratch my head and kind of relate it to present day Call of Duty and the rumors of skill-based damage going around. Not to mention, we need to kind of go back and talk about the skill-based matchmaking thing, because it's not skill-based matchmaking. But in due time we'll do that. First though, let's cover this thread from 3 years ago. Krampus has to be broken. I got him twice, but now I can't get him to show up for the last kill. I notice it's not only me, but what the fuck is up with getting 2 kills and then never seeing him again? I swear the game thinks you completed that challenge already or something. And this kind of confused me, but yeah, he's talking about a challenge to kill Krampus 3 times in a game. He gets to 2 and then doesn't see Krampus any longer. This person says, seems to come in waves. I'll see him all game long and then in 3 to 4 more matches and then not for hours. And this guy says, he kept appearing in my games until I killed him 2 times. After that, he has never been seen again. So I assume something's bugged. And all of this just made me think, are they getting their engagement optimized? It sounds like their engagement is being optimized. And if you're new here, what am I talking about? Well, skill-based matchmaking is not a thing in Call of Duty. It's not the right term for it. It's engagement optimized matchmaking. What is engagement optimized matchmaking? Well, viewer, there's a whole gigantic white paper on it. You can look it up if you really want to fall asleep to something. But basically, it's pairing players in order to maximize the overall player engagement. Or minimize the overall player disengagement. Essentially, it looks to see what's going to keep you on the game and keep playing, and then it rigs the experience in the background to meet those engagement metrics. And I'm not kidding. That's the algorithm. So you could say that this whole, like, Krampus thing is a small sample size as well. That's a good argument, actually. But I say that in a broad spectrum here, they have been doing the engagement thing through multiple ways, and that's just one of the ways. So in essence, it's not a small sample size. It's actually quite a big one. But what am I getting at with all this? And what am I trying to say here? There's been this whole new thing coming about skill-based damage in Black Ops 6. It seems like there's something new every year, some rumor mill that catches fire, and there's no real explanation for why these rumors start. You don't really see this in any other game to my knowledge. I mean, I don't follow other games as closely as Call of Duty, but I don't recall in Fortnite there being some skill-based damage gigantic rumor or whatever, or the fact that the devs steal art or some shit. There may have been something I missed. I don't know. Educate me below in the comments if I'm wrong there. But in Call of Duty, these rumors start. We don't really know why. And then they're sort of talked about by the dev teams, except not really. So last year, they actually addressed this before it took off. Does the Call of Duty matchmaking process impact any in-game elements such as hit registration, player visibility, aim assist, damage, etc.? No, our matchmaking process does not impact gameplay elements. But they worded that super fucking weird. Our matchmaking process does not impact gameplay elements. But you know what does impact gameplay elements? And we have literally proven this beyond a shadow of a doubt with factual video footage of it happening. Ricochet. Ricochet has all of these things that this blog post is referencing coded into it. And yet, why is Ricochet such a shit fucking anti-cheat? As far as I know, by the way, a lot of this stuff about like shots to kill and player visibility and all this cheeky trolly stuff they showed off that Ricochet could do, that doesn't do anything anymore, apparently. So either the system's not working, or they just implemented these features into Ricochet, coded them in, and then we can assume they just never used them again, right? Or maybe, just maybe, they're still in the fucking game. Maybe Ricochet is not an anti-cheat because it's not really doing anything to stop fucking cheaters. That's for goddamn sure. When I saw that whole Krampus thing, I'm like, is this just an experiment to see if people will play more despite getting shit on by some giant weird bunny furry guy? And that's a weird thing to say, but here's the thing, man. A lot of people are asking in Black Ops 6, if skill-based damage is a thing, what's its purpose? I covered this briefly in a previous video, but we are going to cover that again right now, but we're gonna go even deeper. The easy answer for the whole skill-based damage rumors is that the servers are just bad, okay? But why are they so much worse than they've been in recent years? It doesn't make a lot of sense here. Call of Duty does not change that much from year to year. I mean, Modern Warfare 3 to Black Ops 6, the speed of the characters may move a little faster, but why is Warzone and Black Ops 6 both suffering so badly when their servers have been the same for the past 5 years? Like, why is this game in particular, why are both games in particular so abysmal right now? It makes no sense logically, especially when we ask for answers, they just give us this gaslighting. Like, why are our shots not registering? Why are they not talking about the server issues if that is the issue that they plan on fixing? We have known for ages that if they don't talk about something like skill-based matchmaking or the matchmaking process for, ever, then it's probably something nefarious going around. Also, we have to take into account that the only way we got them to talk about the matchmaking process was by starting the AI bot rumor in Modern Warfare 3 to start with. Now, what do you do when you do a series of bad things? This is like human psychology here. What do you do when you do a series of bad things and you don't want the worst thing you've done to be found out? You bring attention to something else bad you've done that's not as bad. That's a pretty good way to get people off your trail. Here's what I think. And we're gonna reference a casino study here, okay? An actual, slot machine study to back up my claims on what I'm going to say right now, okay? And if you're wondering how a casino study is relevant, well, you'll see. But also, we have to keep in mind that for 5 years, Call of Duty literally had gambling coded into their game with loot boxes. It wasn't until that was pretty much blacklisted from the industry that they had to do something else. What was that thing? Engagement optimized matchmaking. This is factual. I think that's the proven thing we have, Krampus. We can't prove the AI bots, but then again, we can neither prove nor disprove the skill-based damage because it's all on the back end, on the server end. So, Krampus was a real AI bot that would come and fuck with your game, seemingly randomly. Why? Why put this in when it's such a stupid idea? To test us, to experiment and see if we'll still play the game, to see if we are more engaged by doing this challenge to kill Krampus. I don't know, man. I don't know what they do behind the scenes. I am not a trillion with a T dollar company, but that's just my theory. They love to run experiments on their player base without their knowledge or consent. So there's that. The AI bot thing could have been real and could have been the second stage of that, but they nixed that once we found it out. And they also posted the matchmaking blog post, which, by the way, also lied to us. So add that to the tally of things they're not honest about. Now they're saying they improved the servers for Warzone or whatever, and that Ricochet anti-cheat banned like 19,000 accounts or whatever. But it's all trust me bro nonsense. As far as I could tell, absolutely nothing has changed. As far as I could tell, Ricochet anti-cheat may as well not even be in the game because it doesn't do anything. So what's its purpose there? Like, seriously, what is its purpose there? Is it there to actually just engage you? Is that its purpose? If we go by the rumors, the skill-based damage, which I'm going to call it something else because I don't think it's skill-based at all. It could be, but what I truthfully think it is, drumroll please, engagements, optimized gunfights. We'll just go with that. I'm just going to lean to the side of the conspiracy theorist because any attempt to actually disprove it being there, it can't be taken seriously. This could be happening to random accounts, much like there was a random pool of players selected for this back-end turn-off skill-based matchmaking data romp they did with Modern Warfare 3. Tell me when I'm telling lies. This could be happening to just certain people's accounts. We don't know unless we can go and test it on their account. We have no idea what they are doing on the back end. Not to mention this trillion-dollar company, there's no way you could, as a user playing their game, could ever find it out. We could infer, and I can show you tons of examples on why it's entirely possible it's in the game, but I can't outright prove it, much like people can't outright disprove it. But I'm going to say that the evidence leans more, especially with their shitty track record and their shady business practices, that the more likely scenario is something nefarious is going on in the back end. Why is this in the game? Why have something in the game that's obviously rigging your experience? Good question. And I covered this in the previous video, but it's akin to a casino. The same psychological tools that keep you playing a slot machine knowing that it's rigged, knowing that you're not going to win and beat the house. The house always wins at casinos, and yet millions of people go to them and blow their money. Call of Duty is trying to become an actual casino. What? You don't believe me? You don't believe me? Let's look at this actual study, this casino study, and I will leave a reference to this if you want to read more about it in the video description. Casinos use chips rather than cash, making it emotionally easier for people to part with their money. What does that sound like? That sounds like COD points to me, but anyway. Studies show that people tend to spend much more when paying by credit card than when paying with cash. Similarly, people tend to gamble more when they are not continually laying out money. Slot machines account for 80% of a casino's gambling revenue. Every day, people put millions of dollars into slot machines, but these machines are specifically designed to take the player's money. So casinos use reinforcement to encourage people to play. Once a person is enticed to sit and try a slot machine, the likelihood that he will continue playing is primarily determined by the machine's reinforcement schedule. Sounds a lot like EOMM, Yeah, interesting. In simple terms, a reinforcer is anything that increases the probability that a particular behavior will occur. To the casino operator, the most desired behavior is continued play. Engagement optimized. Since the odds are stacked against the player, the more a person plays, the more he can lose money. Slot machines operate on a variable ratio schedule, which means that reinforcement is given after an unpredictable number of responses. Research shows that behaviors reinforced on these schedules tend to reoccur again and again. A slot player has no way of knowing how many times he has to play before a winning combination comes up, but he does know that eventually the machine will pay off. Consequently, it is always possible that the next play will be a winning one, and this makes it very hard for the player to walk away. Reinforcement not only comes from winning, but also near misses. What does this sound like to you? Near misses? You mean not getting my quad feed because the fourth person I went to go kill, I was getting extra hit markers on? Near misses are programmed into slot machines. According to research psychologist Dr. Luke Clark, if they watch two cherries come up on a slot machine and then see the third almost click into place, they'll keep playing. People gamble for many reasons: the chance to win money, to have fun, or just to escape from a daily routine. Regardless of why somebody chooses to gamble, he is subject to sophisticated psychological techniques specifically designed to keep them playing the moment they enter the casino. And people are going to sit there knowing what Activision's capable of, knowing what they've done, knowing when they've lied, knowing that they had gambling literally coded into their games for 5 years, and tell me that everything I've said in this video is not at least possible. You will not be able to disprove this, much like I will not be able to prove this. This is all on the back end, encrypted, and it will never see the light of day. But everything I have laid out in this video, I think makes logical sense, logically speaking, and trust me, I'm more in the middle. I am not a conspiracy theorist by any means. One time my girlfriend tried to show me that if you fold the dollar bill a certain way, you could see the Twin Towers like smoking and on fire, and I told her I have diarrhea, let's leave this Golden Corral right now, I gotta go home. But anyway, that's beside the point. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I am leaning more towards them doing the scummy thing, logically speaking, through deductive reasoning, having seen all the stuff they have done and continue to do to fuck us over. I'm more on the side of the conspiracy theorists. Sorry, I am. It is entirely possible something like this could be in the game. The engagement optimized gunfights. Let's not even call it skill-based damage anymore. It's not skill-based. It's completely random. Again, the easy assumption is that it's bad servers. But why in the fuck can I play a game like Black Ops 2 on some guy's fucking Wi-Fi connection on an Xbox 360 and have a better experience than this AAA trillion-dollar studio-backed game in 2024 when everyone has better internet than 2012, 2013? Please explain it to me. I want to know. Why is it just this year when the servers on the back end haven't really changed? You know, why is it just this year these rumors pop up and we get all of these instances of just clips that don't make any sense? I'm just going to rattle them off for you guys. Rampant hit markers, erroneous blood splatter, all this mess. Just going to rattle it off. And I'm just going to end this video and say, if you enjoyed, like it. This took ages to make. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Peace out.